What's up, fam? Today we're going to be making a creamy, delicious lasagna soup, and it's easy on the budget. Let's go ahead and get on into it. We live in Colorado and we've been hit with tons of cold weather, and I really needed something warm and filling that wasn't going to break the bank. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a small medium yellow onion. I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to dice that up by hand. If you guys want to use the chopper, go on ahead. This is just my way of doing it. I've done the vegetable choppers, they just slow me down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a rough chop, nothing too precise, just something, rough. And we're gonna go ahead and chop up some yellow onion, and that's how we're gonna start off this recipe. This is my first time making this recipe, so bear with me here, but I've been seeing it all over my For You pages and my timelines, and I just had to try it myself. If you are a lasagna lover, then this lasagna soup is a great play on that. I'm gonna go ahead and rough chop now some bell peppers, some green bell pepper. You guys can play with it. Any color bell pepper would work for this, but I'm gonna use green because that's what I had in the fridge already. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and dice this up as best that I can by hand. And then we're gonna go ahead and start assembling this soup. You guys, when I say cost effective, this is very cost effective, yummy, and it gives you that creamy goodness that we all need during these winter cold months. I'm gonna go ahead and use 3 pounds of ground turkey for this. However, you can use whatever you want. You can use ground beef, ground chicken. You can even use sausage if you want. That would be really good. But I'm gonna go ahead and use what I had on hand. I'm gonna add some Creole seasoning, some all-purpose seasoning, and some Italian, as well as some adobo, because why not? I'm gonna go ahead and get that started on the stove, get that nice and browned up, and it smells good in here already, you guys. Then after I get that nice and browned and cooked through, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my yellow onion, my bell pepper, and I didn't show you guys cutting this part, but I did add some garlic as well. I love garlic. I add it in everything that I cook. I'm going to add in some tomato paste for flavor and a little bit of thickness, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix that through as well, get that nice and incorporated. And it, like I said, smells so good at this point. It kind of reminds me of like a spaghetti, but not. I'm gonna add in my favorite spaghetti sauce, which is this ragu chunky, and then I'm gonna add in a little bit of water because obviously this is a soup, so we're gonna make it a little bit watery. All right, I'm gonna add in 2 big jugs of the of water. I'm gonna mix that through, let that come to a simmer, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. I love this because it's easy and it doesn't cost a lot, you guys. I'm gonna add in some chicken seasoning, or you can add in, instead of water, you can add in chicken broth or beef broth, whatever you have on hand, whatever you would like to use. I feel like it's gonna come out tasting about the same, whatever you want to use for flavor. I like chicken seasoning. I feel like it adds a little bit more seasoning. I'd rather add the seasoning and then just add in my own water. I'm gonna mix that through and let that come to a simmer. Then I'm gonna take some lasagna sheets. Everybody that I saw online just kind of broke them up and threw them in the pot and brought it to a complete boil. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna break them up. This part was a little difficult, and so that's the look that we're going for. Just some broken pieces in there, and I ended up letting the kids help me too because they thought this part was just so fun, so awesome, because they love to break things anyway. Might as well go ahead and help me break some things that you can actually break. So we're gonna go ahead and just break up about 1.5 boxes, but you guys can do whatever you want that's gonna be big enough or small enough for your family. The more you make, the more you're gonna need. I'm gonna go ahead and add in some heavy whipping cream, not too much, but I want this to be nice and creamy, just like some creamy out of the oven lasagna. I'm gonna go ahead, while that's coming to a boil, and put a little bit more than half of a container of ricotta cheese into a bowl, and then some Parmesan. After I add in, it's gonna be about half a cup of Parmesan, and then I'm gonna add probably a half a cup of mozzarella cheese as well. Now, the video that I watched on this on TikTok, she made like little balls, and most people do who make this, and then they add it on top when it's done. But I decided I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the pot and make it nice and creamy and cheesy. I'm gonna go ahead and end with some Italian seasoning as well as some fresh basil. I'm just gonna cut that right on up, add that in to my mixture, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do with this in just a second. So now I'm adding some fresh basil to the actual pot, and this smells so good. Honestly, it's like a play on spaghetti. It's just like a creamy, soupy spaghetti, but it's really, really good. I'm gonna add some mozzarella, just a little bit to the pot. Again, I want this to be super creamy, super cheesy, just super good and filling. There's something about a chilly day and just having something nice and filling and creamy and cheesy and just warm. I love this, you guys. This was so good. I'm telling you, you need to try this if you haven't already. So now I'm gonna take my ricotta mixture and I'm gonna go ahead and make it into balls, okay? And the balls, I'm going to go ahead and just pop right on top of that soup mixture, and you guys will see that play out in just a second. And I'm gonna let that warm a little bit. Now, I will say, let your cheeses come to room temperature because mine was a little bit more difficult to mix up, but we got there. We got it done, baby. I also last minute decided to go ahead and chop up some green onion because I just love green onion, and I added some cypress flake sea salt. That sea salt is like some of the best sea salt I've ever gotten or had or tried. It's so good, and a little bit goes a long way. I'm gonna make some big old cheese balls, and I'm gonna pop that on top of the soup mixture, and I'm gonna let this get incorporated and melty and just delicious, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the top on top of this for about 5 minutes and just let everything get nice and incorporated, and this is what it looks like when it's done. You have a pot of creamy, cheesy deliciousness, you guys. This is so good. I want you to try this for yourself. I served it up with some garlic knots for the kiddos, and like I said, this was one of the best soups that I have ever made, and I absolutely love it. Be sure to comment down below if you try this recipe or if you've tried it before, because I most certainly want to hear your thoughts, but I thought this was amazing. Be sure to hit a like for your girl because it's free and it'll cost you nothing, and I'll see y'all in the next video.